Starting small in commercial real estate when purchasing your first deal is absolutely okay. In fact, I recommend it. Number one, if you believe commercial real estate is complicated, then wrapping your mind around a small deal is that much easier. Number two, if you don't have a whole lot of money, buying a smaller deal makes it that much more reachable. Number three, if you are not a risk taker, perhaps starting with a small commercial deal is the wisest thing for you. And number four, there are many more smaller commercial deals than there are the large ones. And I'll show that to you statistically in a few minutes. Here's the natural progression of a successful commercial real estate investor. You first buy a small deal, then after the small deal stabilizes, you go to a small to medium deal. Then from the small to medium deal, you do a medium-sized deal. From the medium-sized deal, you do a large deal with some form of syndication. That is the natural progression. We call that the ladder of success in commercial real estate. You can do this, and I'll show you how. Hi, I'm Peter Harris with Commercial Property Advisors. I'm author of this book, Commercial Real Estate Investing for Dummies. I'm also author of my new best-selling book, Commercial Real Estate for Beginners. And lastly, I'm a coach and mentor to many commercial real estate investors all around this country. Today, you're going to learn what is a small commercial deal. We have to define it so you can have it, right? And I'm also going to share with you why should you consider starting off with a small commercial deal. Number two, I'm going to give you investment strategies that work well for the smaller commercial size deals. And number three, I'm going to give you a layout of what I call the commercial real estate ladder of success. It's the natural progression from a beginner to an expert. And number four, I'm going to ask you, and I want you to answer this question, the one question that you need to ask when starting off small. Let's get started. Let's start here. What is a small commercial real estate deal? I'm going to define it for you. All right, three definitions here. Number one, a small commercial real estate deal is an apartment building that's between 5 and 20 units. Remember that an apartment building that consists of 5 units and greater, that's considered commercial. Anything that's 4 units and lower is considered residential. Okay? So 5 to 20 units, the first definition. The second definition is a commercial building that goes up to about 3,000 square feet. Okay? That could be an office condo, it could be an office building, it could be a retail center, it could be a single tenant commercial space, but it's around 3,000 up to and around 3,000 square feet. I would consider that to be a small commercial deal. And lastly, I would define it as a commercial building such that you can see or envision yourself owning, okay? Something that's gettable, that's a word, okay? All right, so there's a definition of what a small commercial real estate deal is. Next, let's talk about why you should consider starting off with a small commercial deal. Well, number one is easier to understand, right? So since you have much smaller numbers, it's easier to understand, which makes it more affordable. In commercial real estate, you are going to have to put a down payment down, most likely 25%. And so that will be 25% of a smaller number as opposed to a large deal where there's a large number, right? Before I get off to affordable, now don't forget, you're more likely to do something creative with a smaller deal rather than with a large deal, just because of the ownership. On a larger property, the ownership is more sophisticated than it is in a smaller property. Hence, the smaller properties with smaller owners, it's easier to do something creative there, like a master lease or have the seller carry a second mortgage. Okay? All right. Number three, less risk, right? If you are in this business for many years, you will make a mistake somewhere. Would you rather have that mistake on a smaller property or a larger property, right? And that's my explanation here. Number four, there's more smaller properties, a whole lot more than there are larger commercial properties. Let me give you a stat real quick. In the U.S., there are about 450,000 apartment buildings between the range of 5 to 20 units. 450,000. From 20 to 100 units, that number goes down to 95,000. Okay, so there's a 5-to-1 difference in large and smaller properties to larger properties. Okay, so there's 5 times more smaller commercial real estate deals. All right, and lastly, number 5. Now, the reason why you should consider doing something small, it just makes sense to you, right? Wherever you are in life, it just makes sense for you to start with a smaller property. All right? Okay, so here we are. Let's move on to investing strategies that work well, really well, with small commercial real estate deals. See you there. Here are 4 investment strategies that work really well for small commercial deals. All right. Number 1 is to go through a conventional bank process. Number 2 is to do something creative like a master lease. Number 3 is to wholesale the deal. Much like you will wholesale a single family home, you can also wholesale commercial properties for big dollars. And lastly, to buy something distressed, right? So you have something here that's conventional, something that's creative, something that you can do if you don't have a whole lot of money. And number 4, this is something more opportunistic. All right, so let's review all 4 really quickly. By the way, all 4 of these are real deals. This master lease is my deal. These other 3 are from our recent deal closings from our students. Right, number 1 is a 6-unit property she bought. The current cash flow when she first purchased it was about $15,000 a year. We noticed through rent surveys that the rents could be bumped up if we could do some painting, cleaning up the property. And that's exactly what she did over the next year. She did that. Once the rents increased, the cash flow increased to $24,000 per year. And then as you know, as the NOI goes up, cash flow goes up, so does the property value. So she sold the property in close to 1 year and made an $80,000 profit from the sale. So she sold it and made a profit, and then her next step was to buy another 6 units next door to the property. She ended up doing that and selling that one as well. So what's her strategy? To buy, fix up, and sell so she can build up her capital base for her larger property purchase. So right now she's pursuing 40 units. So she went from 6 units to 6 units now to 40. You see the progression? All right. Also, there's a video on how conventional banks work. So the video will appear on the screen. Go ahead and watch it. All right. The second one is a master lease deal that I did. It's one of my favorite techniques to be creative. 7 units. I put down 15%. They gave me 3 years of this seller financing. It only took me a year to get out of this this creative financing here. And then I got a permanent loan, and then my cash flow ended up being about $17,000 per year. This is a long time ago, and I held it for 12 years. So I sold it, a few years ago. And there's a video on how master lease works. It's called Commercial Real Estate from Master Lease. All right, so we have something conventional here, then we have something creative here. So learn this technique. It's a really, really powerful technique. Okay, watch the video. The third one is wholesale. Now, this student was a nurse, had 0 experience, no single family, no experience whatsoever, not a whole lot of money. So what we taught her was to go find an off-market deal and at the same time find a buyer. So she networked, got the off-market deal, she networked, got the buyer, and she flipped the contract to the buyer and made $26,000 at closing. All right. So yeah, $26,000 just by flipping the contract to the buyer. All right. Now, next one is buying a distressed property. This is an opportunistic deal. This is not for everyone, right? This is an opportunity to make a decent amount of money with small properties. All right. This apartment building was a 5-unit building. It needed all 5 units needed rehab. Okay. And because of that, he had to pay all cash. So $160,000 all cash, right? Now, why did we do that? It's because we saw the potential in this property. The bank, at closing, the bank, he sold the bank on what the property could be, right? So the bank came in agreement with him that the active repair value was $320. So the bank gave him $80,000 in the line of credit. So the goal is to go through each of the units, fix them all up, let the property stabilize, and it'll be worth $320, right? And then the goal is to do a cash out refinance and pull out his entire capital that he spent. So he will be able to pull out. He paid $160. He'll put about $80 into it, right? At the end of the day, because he'll do a 75% cash out refinance. So 75% of $320 is $240. So in essence, he's getting out everything that he put in. Now this is a good deal. Now some of you may be thinking, well, he's over leveraging. He's not. The bank will only allow him to pull out 75% what it's worth, right? Also, the bank's going to make sure it's still cash flowing. All right. Okay. So these are the four investment strategies that work really well with small properties. Conventionally, creatively through a master lease, wholesaling if you don't have a whole lot of money, and buy something distressed. This is an opportunity here. So I actually have a video called How to Buy Distressed Commercial Property. So check out the video. All right. Okay. So let's move on to one of my favorite topics is the ladder of success, where I explain the natural progression to go from a small investor to a large investor, and then sky's the limit. I'll see you there. All right, here is the commercial real estate ladder of success. I'm going to share with you the natural progression of a typical commercial real estate investor going from a small deal all the way up to a holder of a large portfolio of commercial properties. Okay, so this applies to you if you have a 9-to-5 job, if you have no experience, or if you're starting off with very little money. Okay, this is a natural progression of success. We call this the ladder of success. Okay, so let me share. So there are 4 phases. You're going to go from a small deal to a small to medium deal to a medium deal to a large deal. Okay, and after that, sky's the limit. Let me break it down for you. Okay, so a small deal here, phase 1, you can buy this property with a conventional bank, as I explained earlier. You can get started wholesaling, or you can do a master lease. Okay, so a small deal, right? So when you wholesale, this is not ownership. This is completing your first deal, whether it be something creative, wholesaling, or something conventional through a bank loan. Okay, small deal here. Now, once you're done with this, you're going to graduate to the small to medium. Okay, small to medium deal, where you can use a bank, you can use a master lease, or something else creative. Now here, when you graduate to this deal, your credibility is going to be kicked up a notch because you completed this deal. Okay. Also, your confidence is going to be kicked up a notch because you completed this phase here, and now you're playing in this arena. All right. Now, commercial real estate is not a short game, right? So it is not a type of business where you're going to get wealthy in 6 months. It's what we call a long game, L-O-N-G, game. It's a long game, right? So phase 1, phase 2, once you complete this with a small to medium deal, you're going to graduate to the medium-sized deal, okay? Medium-sized deal is going to have a definite financial impact on your life. You will see that you will see the light, and the light will tell you, oh, I think I can do this and eventually leave my job. Okay, so once you get to medium deal, you're at a whole new level, different language, your mindset's different now. You can see the potential of what real estate can do for you and your family, and give you options of working part-time, pursuing a passion of yours, or just leaving your job. All right, now once you complete this, you're gonna graduate to the large deal. Okay, on the large deal, your track record is now good enough for you to start using other people's money. Okay, this is called syndication. So on the screen here, I have a video called The Basics of Real Estate Syndication that will appear. You can click on it. Basically, syndication is the pooling of other person's money together to buy a property. So you're just raising capital for a down payment to buy the property. That's what's happening here once you progress through here, okay? This is a natural progression again, and commercial real estate is a long game, not a short game. It's a long game, but it's really, really worth it, okay? All right, also, and when you participate in large deals, you're gonna have to start doing this full time. You know why? If you have a 9 to 5 here, guess what's gonna get in the way? Your 9 to 5. It's gonna get in the way from you being successful here. So at that point, you have to make a choice, right? Is your 9 to 5 getting in the way of you taking care of people's money? And then if it is, you're going to have to leave your job. All right? That's simple. All right, so small deal, small to medium deal, medium-sized deal, and large deal. After this, there's no limit. Sky's the limit of what you can do in your commercial real estate career. Okay, got it? All right, so this is a natural progression of success that we use with our students in taking them from large deals all the way up to becoming a holder of large commercial properties. All right? Okay, so the next and last thing I'm going to share with you is the one question that you need to answer, right, in order to start with small commercial deals. I'll see you there. All right, here we are. The one question you need to ask yourself and also answer yourself. This question is for you only. All right. Here's the one question. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer A 12-unit apartment building that produces $20,000 a year in cash flow? Or would you prefer B, which is again a 12-unit apartment building, but you wholesaled it and you made a $40,000 one-time fee? All right? So A or B? That's the question, right? If you prefer A, which is the $20,000 per year in cash flow, you're going to experience passive income. Perhaps you need to build up your nest egg. Maybe you don't have a retirement. Maybe this is your 401k right here. Or maybe this is a pretty common why a person would want to get into commercial real estate is retire your spouse, okay? Very common these days with working couples. So would you prefer that? Or would you prefer B, which is making a one-time lump sum fee of $40,000 by wholesaling a commercial deal that you found, right? In this case, you're going to receive a lump sum of cash. Perhaps you can use it to pay off your student loans, or perhaps you're going to do multiple wholesale deals to build up your capital base or your down payments so you can purchase your own property. All right? So what I want you to do now is in the comment box, I want you to choose either A or B. So right now, put in the comment box, would you prefer, just put in A if you prefer the $20,000 a year in cash flow, or put in the comment box the letter B if you prefer the one-time lump sum fee of $40,000. Okay? I'll go ahead and do that. I would like to see your answers. It will tell me a lot about where you are and what your goals should be, and perhaps set us up for a future video on how to accomplish all this. We'll go even deeper there. Okay? All right. So everyone, thank you for joining us today in learning how to start small in commercial real estate. I hope by now you can see that it's probably okay to start small. It could be wise for some of you. But if some of you want to go large, big time, that's okay too. But this video is about starting off small. If you enjoyed this video, please go onto our website, commercialpropertyadvisors.com, or simply subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you at the next video.